Is atrial fibrillation life-threatening? Well, atrial fibrillation is not considered to be one of the directly dangerous life-threatening heart rhythms. When you consider that there are up to 15 different abnormal heart rhythms that people can develop problems with in their lifetime, and an abnormal heart rhythm, or arrhythmia, is defined as an abnormal source of electricity that forms in another wall of your heart, different from where your normal source of electricity is located, which is the roof of your heart, and that this abnormal source of electricity has a mind of its own and can sleep and do nothing, or randomly wake up, take over control of your heart away from the normal source, and then tell your heart to speed up for no good reason. If that is the definition of an abnormal heart rhythm, that there are some abnormal heart rhythms out of the 15 that are directly dangerous and life-threatening. Atrial fibrillation, thankfully, is not one of those. So when atrial fibrillation wakes up and takes over control of your heart, it makes your heart go at what we call exercise speeds, meaning speeds that you could get your normal rhythm to speed up to with vigorous exercise. So if somebody comes to me and says, I know atrial fibrillation can wake up and go at any speed, and when it's faster, I'll feel more lousy, and if it's slower, I may or may not even feel it. But what's the worst I could possibly feel? How fast could AFib actually go at its worst? And I would say to them, well, if you got on a treadmill right now in your normal rhythm and exercise really, really hard and pushed yourself, how fast could you get your normal rhythm to speed up to with vigorous exercise? And they may say, well, if I really push myself, I don't know, I can get my heart rate up to 130, 140, 150 beats per minute. Well, guess what? AFib can go at that speed. Or when they were younger, maybe teenager or in their 20s and really healthy, they could get their heart rate up even faster, maybe 180, 190 beats per minute. Well, guess what? The atrial fibrillation could make their heart go at that speed as well, even though they may not be 16 years old and running a marathon. You might be 80 years old and potentially your AFib could go at 160 to 180 beats per minute. But is it going to go much faster than that? No. And a heart rate of even 160 to 180 beats per minute, while very fast and definitely will cause a lot of symptoms, palpitations, like you're running or exercising, that is not a directly dangerous, life-threatening speed. Think about it. If that was true, then every teenager in America would go, keel over and die every time they did PE class and ran a marathon, because they can easily get their heart rate up to 160 to 180 beats per minute. That is not a directly dangerous, life-threatening speed. You are still pumping blood to your brain at that speed. Now, out of the 15 different abnormal heart rhythms, there are about 4 that are considered to be directly dangerous, life-threatening heart rhythms. And these rhythm sources, which come from the bottom chambers of your heart, the ventricles, as opposed to the top chambers, the atria, like atrial fibrillation, the ventricular rhythms are directly dangerous and life-threatening because when they wake up, they have the ability to take over control of your heart, like AFib does, take over control of your heart, speed your heart rate up, make your heart go super duper fast, but the speeds they can make your heart go at are directly dangerous, life-threatening. They can make your heart go at speeds of 200, 300, even sometimes close to 400 beats per minute. Now, at that speed, your heart's not going to explode or anything like that, but at that speed, your heart is beating so incredibly fast that it doesn't actually have time to fill up, pump. It's just vibrating, quivering, fasciculating really. It's just kind of shaking. So it's really not effectively pushing blood at that speed. And so therefore you are not circulating blood, and therefore you are not getting blood and oxygen to your brain. And what happens if you don't get blood and oxygen to your brain? You will collapse, pass out, and die. This is what we see on TV when people suddenly collapse. You have to grab the defibrillator paddles and shock them out of that dangerous rhythm. The shock does not cure them of the dangerous rhythm, and it doesn't make the dangerous rhythm permanently go away or not wake up in the future, but it does put the dangerous rhythm cells to sleep for that moment, and you have to do it right away because it's a life-threatening emergency. If you don't shock the dangerous rhythm back to sleep within 20-30 minutes, the person's going to die of severe brain damage or lack of blood flow to the brain. This is not the same thing as a heart attack. A heart attack is blocked heart arteries, cutting off blood supply to your heart, where you might have severe chest pain and damage to your heart over hours. That is not the same thing as what we're talking about with the dangerous rhythm. The dangerous rhythm is called a cardiac arrest, and that is a dangerous fast rhythm going at a life-threatening speed that kills you within 20-30 minutes. The good news is atrial fibrillation is not one of these dangerous life-threatening heart rhythms. No matter how fast it makes your heart go at, it will never make your heart go at a life-threatening speed. That's why symptom-wise, which it can definitely cause symptoms with rapid heart rates, even if it doesn't kill you, symptom-wise, we're basically just treating AFib for symptoms because it doesn't ever make your heart go at a life-threatening speed. Now, there is one other problem with atrial fibrillation that we do worry about, which is every time you go into atrial fibrillation, there is a small, somewhere between 3 to 6% chance of a clot forming in your heart that could break loose if it did happen, float out of your heart, float up to your brain, and cause a stroke. And so that's why people with atrial fibrillation are often placed on very specialized blood thinners to reduce the risk of that. But as long as you're being treated, usually with a blood thinner, to protect you against clots and strokes, everything else we do for atrial fibrillation is just for symptoms, because AFib is not felt to be directly life-threatening as long as you don't have a clot and a stroke from it.